Airing on OffTheHookSports.com, your home for real news, real opinions, and what really matters about Tennessee athletics. The Off the Hook podcast at OffTheHookSports.com or Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or wherever you go for your favorite podcasts. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, iHeart. Like, share, follow, subscribe. Off the Hook with Dave Hooker starts now.
Well, it has been a while since we've been able to talk to this guy because he has been on multiple continents. He has been bouncing around, making things happen on a global scale, and he is Cooper Mays. I'm going to tell you all about that. Tennessee's offensive lineman's appearance is brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning, cityheatandair.com. What I love about cityheatandair.com is the fact they're not throwing out some low number to come do some service call and then upcharge you. They're about integrity. That's cityheatandair.com. Please like and subscribe, and you can follow us on the YouTube thing is what they call it, Cooper. And yeah, so the more people that are on there, the more people that get to see you. And speaking of people seeing you, people in Africa, Amsterdam, wherever your layover was that I was texting you back and forth last night was, you just start from the beginning. I go in as a blank slate, and every good reporter should know that they are ignorant because I don't know what you're about to. It's true. There's a difference between ignorance and being dumb. Okay, I'm not dumb, but I'm ignorant when it comes to your trip. So I just want to hear about it because I've heard a lot of good things from Jacob Warren, who joins us, and I just want to hear kind of how you were selected to go to Africa and what the trip was all about.
Yeah, so basically there's a group every year named to like the Vol Leaders group. So they'll handpick like around 40 or 50 student athletes throughout the university's athletic department, and then they'll put them into a leadership course that spans for 2 semesters. And then as kind of like the capstone of the course or like the final thing, you travel out of the country and go help people in need, just kind of anywhere they will get approval for. So it changes out different years, but our group this year went to Rwanda, Africa.
Rwanda. I would imagine that puts things in perspective. We complain a lot as Americans. I think it's our new national pastime, but we complain a lot. I bet Rwanda put some things in perspective pretty quick.
Yeah, no doubt. I was so Coach Eckler, he was asking me kind of like what was my biggest takeaway in the weight room today? Like what was my biggest takeaway from the whole trip? And I kind of told him that it was the way that they, like the whole group, like as a whole people, they all live with like such like passion and like spirit. Like I think in America, as a whole like group of like people, we live like kind of with our flesh. Like we put our flesh first. So like it's more like we're looking towards pleasures and like materialistic things that will bring us happiness. And just kind of seeing like 2 kids just playing around with like a wheel from like a bike, and like they were just rolling it down the street over and over, and they looked like they were about to just, you know, explode with happiness. So they kind of, everything that they did with like a smile on their face. So like just seeing the people that have like a spirit about them rather than just living with their flesh, it was pretty cool. That was my biggest takeaway.
That's awesome. That is really cool. So what did you do there? Was it more of just touring, or I know it was what did you do there as a group?
Right. So as a group, I'd say probably like a 60-40 mix of like 60% was like service based, and then like 40% was like us being able to kind of enjoy where we were at. So like getting to see like a big part, like my favorite part of it, we went and saw gorillas like up close. They call it gorilla trekking. So we got along with like groups of like guides and like former poachers that like kind of helped us get towards where the gorillas were at. So I saw like a silverback gorilla, like probably like 2 or 3 feet away from me, just sit down right in front of me.
Nothing was in between you and the gorilla?
No.
I don't like anything about this, Cooper.
Well,
you're a strong guy, but you're not going to take on a gorilla. I don't like. Yeah. I mean, you got to think about the season here, Cooper. I'm not sure I'm fond of this.
No, well, so they're actually really peaceful animals. So they told us, like, they explained to us before we went, that gorillas will not attack you unless they give you a warning first. So they'll make one noise for, like, to let you know if, like, there's, like, danger, or if they're about to do something, like, bad. But they also have another call for, they're, like, peaceful, like everything's okay. So, like, our like guides knew how to communicate with them. So anytime we would get close, our guide would, like, do the little peaceful call, and they would, like, repeat it back to them. So it wasn't as, like, scary as most people probably would think it is.
It sounds terrifying. It's
It was
I,
it
I
was
mean,
yeah.
I'm afraid the next thing you're going to say is like you were handling pythons out in the middle of the jungle. That does scare me. So
No,
we've talked about your leadership role on this team. Just being selected to do something like that, how much of an honor was that?
I think it's one of the probably the best thing that's ever happened to me. It's probably like being in that course. That's been one of the coolest experiences. Like me, I'm the kind of guy from, like, small town East Tennessee. I don't really get out of my comfort zone very much. So just being able to kind of live a completely different experience for a couple weeks and just see a whole different culture and a whole different way of life, it was definitely up there for one of the top experiences of my life, honestly.
Cityheatandair.com. City Heating and Air Conditioning, American Standard manufacturer. That's what they carry. And they're, quite frankly, the best because of their integrity, and they can service you anywhere in the Knoxville area. So if you're listening in the Knoxville area, that's who you need to call to make sure you get the best service possible. Cooper, then, so you're coming back from Africa, and so I'm excited to do our weekly visit brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning. Oh, and like I'm losing track of days, but like Tuesday or maybe
Right.
even Monday it was. I can't remember, but and then you get stuck in Amsterdam. Now I've heard of bad travel stories. That one is kind of a good travel story. I would like to go to Amsterdam for a couple of days. I don't necessarily want to pay for it, but if I got stuck there for a couple of days, I think I'd be all right with it.
No, yeah, it was definitely a really cool experience. So we had a 2 hour flight to Uganda, and then a 8.5, 9 hour flight to Amsterdam, and then we were scheduled to get on a flight from Amsterdam to Atlanta. So we were about to go on another, 8, 9 hour flight again. But there's a protest going on in Amsterdam right now, and they had no workers, and we had about an hour and a half in the security line, and we didn't even make our flight. But we got to sit there and watch it sit right next to the gate for 15 minutes, but couldn't get on. So that was that. Thank you, Delta. Got stuck in Amsterdam for a day and a half ish, and then yeah, it was rest is history. It was a good time. I really enjoyed it. It's a really cool
Yeah,
place.
can you believe that it used to be flying was like such a pleasure because you were treated well? Like I would wear a sport coat and stuff, and now it's just like your cattle.
Yeah, it's there's definitely it's up there with Walmart probably for people watching. That's what I was for the
Yeah,
airport.
and you're talking about Delta for goodness sake. We're not even talking about Allegiant. Try that. That's
I
bad.
just feel like there's standards for, like, human beings when we're gonna be, like, in, like, shoulder to shoulder. You should, like, I don't think you need to have to be wearing a suit or a sports coat or anything. I'm not gonna say that, but, like, you need to be well showered, well brushed teeth, and you need to have all of your body parts covered with clothing, because I don't want to, like, touch or, like, feel any of you, like, touching me at all.
Agreed. Agreed. And you're not a small guy either, so I assume you go
No,
for
no.
non-middle seat. When I was a
Yeah,
little bit bigger, I used to go non-middle seat. You didn't get stuck in a middle seat, did you?
I did in flight. It was terrible.
Oh, that's the worst. Who's your
Yeah,
travel agent?
I don't even know.
I can hook you up
I
with a
just,
person.
I just, I just get on the flight and do what I'm told.
What was your favorite part about Amsterdam? What was the takeaway there?
I would probably say we had, like, honestly, my favorite takeaway was the shopping. Like, and I've never seen, like, such a, like, a whole population, like, the fashion level and, like, the taste, everything everybody was wearing something like beautiful. So like I think as a whole, it's probably like the most well dressed population I've ever seen. I
Oh,
can
wow.
confirm that. Yeah.
So I can tell you this. I'm 100% on board with the full college experience, and I think it's great that you got to do that. But one of your teammates did say, "I hope he didn't lose a bunch of weight." So, because apparently, one of the players went on a similar trip last year and came back and he lost some weight. I think he said, I think it was Jacob. I think he said it was Josh Palmer, maybe.
Yeah.
But anyway, how do you? Because you're an elite athlete. I mean, how do you keep the right caloric intake and still do some sort of working out? How do you keep doing that with that sort of travel?
Well, I definitely for like the first few days in Africa did not hardly eat at all because it just wasn't, what I was looking for in a meal. So we ended up staying at a Marriott for a few nights and they had some really good food. So I kind of just like doubled up everything I ate that day, those few days. Helped me kind of get back up. So I'm still about 290, so I'm not really stressing at all.
Okay,
It
so
looked like I was getting a little bit skinny at some points though, so I was getting worried, but I'm still feeling good.
how tuned in are how tuned in are you to your body? I mean, because you are an athlete and that's what you're earning your living on. I mean, can you pretty much tell when you've lost a pound or two or gained a pound or two?
Yeah, I can tell exactly what weight I am off of looking in the mirror. It's weird.
Seriously?
I'm too tuned in with my body. It makes me anxious, honestly.
So you
I wish
can
I was
look at
somebody that could like just weigh every couple days and just like oh, okay, I'm still like some people I know like can just eat and like either stay where they want to stay or like gain weight. That's just not me. Like I just have to constantly be eating.
well, I'm kind of in that place, but I had to cut out all the fun stuff like fried food and red meat
Mm.
and adult beverages. So I'm kind of in
Do
that
you have
place.
gout? Do you have gout?
No, I don't. I've never had gout. Why don't you just ask me if I got a cane? No. Have you ever had gout?
No, but I've heard it's terrible.
Yeah, I've seen
I
people
was
with
just
it,
thinking about that because you said you cut out red meat. So like I feel like people with gout they can't eat red meat, right?
I think, and
Yeah,
fried food. I don't know. But
and they
go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah they can't. Well, they can't drink either. I don't think. I think if they drink beer or something, I don't know.
Yeah, mine was just like an overall health change. So I'm kind of getting to that point, but I still every time I step on the scale, I'm somewhat surprised that it hasn't moved. But you can just look in the mirror and get how close to within your weight.
Yeah. How much like pounds do you think I could get within?
Yeah,
Like 2 or 3, probably
that's
two
pretty
or three.
that's pretty strong. So how I mean that's pretty impressive. So how close do you have to be mindful of what you eat? Because you mentioned other people can just eat and stay at the same weight.
Well, I can just as often as I get hungry, I'm trying to like kill a huge meal, so I don't have to watch what I eat at all. I mean, I try to eat healthier, like just high amounts of healthy food rather than going like junk food. I can feel myself like in the mornings when I work out. I can feel like by what I know exactly like I can tell the difference between what I ate from the night before and then like nights I eat healthy. So I kind of watch what I eat in that regard. But as far as eating how much, like I can eat all day if I want to, and I'd still be on track. Like when I get done with football, I'll probably get down to like 240 within a couple months, probably 2 months, 3 months.
Well, I'm curious. A lot of people, a lot of players in the last 10, 15 years have done that. Now, previously to that, a lot of guys got even bigger because they were used to eating.
No doubt.
Um, and unfortunately, some of the guys have passed away partly because of that. But is that something that you're mindful of after football that you don't need to carry around 290 pounds to be a successful person in life?
Oh yeah, no doubt. Well, the thing is, I'd say probably like one of the biggest anxieties in my life over the past few years has been like making sure my weight stays on track. Like and what I eat. That would probably be one of my main anxieties. So getting to the point in life where I wouldn't have to worry about my weight, like I'll eat like 2 meals a day, like just some like small meals until I'm down to whatever weight I want to. Because I hardly get hungry anymore. I kind of just like force myself to eat. So I don't know.
So So you're one of those that has trouble keeping the weight on. In other
Yes,
words.
like when I was the last game of my junior year of high school, I was 242 pounds. So
Gosh.
I went from 242 to 290 from the December to like in a span of about 5 or 6 months. I put on like 50 pounds.
6 months.
Yeah,
So
from December to probably around like July.
how much of that was good weight? Because it'd be pretty tough to put on 50 pounds of muscle in 6 months.
Yeah, I'd say probably like 30-20, like 30 pounds of muscle, like 20 pounds of fat, probably. I didn't look fat. I've never really looked fat, no matter how big, like how big I've been. But like I just get thick. I don't know. It's weird.
So getting through the season, I know is a challenge for some guys that have to hold weight. So where do you start the season, and where do you want to end the season?
I'm trying to start the season around 305, and then try not to go below 298. Probably. That's what I would like to play.
Perfect.
It's always hard during the season because the schedule's so grueling, but like just the day to day. I'm not saying like the 10 games, but the day to day is so hard. Like to just keep yourself in a positive caloric intake, if that makes sense, like from what you burn.
I got one last thing for you. I want to go back to Africa. And you said the food wasn't very appealing or what you were looking for. I've gotten to know Cooper Mays well enough where I know that that's like a veiled response. So I've thought about it. What were you offered up that you passed on? That you're like hard pass. I keep thinking of the Indiana Jones scene when they bring out the monkey skull. Was it anything like that?
No, it wasn't even that. It was like chicken and some other, I don't really know the other type of meats that were really there, but it's just, I don't know. It was just like you couldn't tell which piece of the chicken you were eating, so there was like bones everywhere in it. Like it was just a little bit weird. I bit into a burger, and like at first I was like, oh, this is kind of good. Like, and then I like ate my second bite, and I like kind of was just like, this tastes like funky. Like something is not right here. Like, and it just kind of like set me off. Like it didn't seem like real burger. I don't know.
Oh, and you don't want to get sick in the middle
Yeah,
of a
that's the
foreign
last thing
country.
you want to do. That's the last thing you want to do.
Okay, so you came back pretty much the same weight.
Right.
Haven't lost any strength, and here we are. It's about football season. This is kind of when the fiscal year, to use a business term, begins for you, isn't it?
Right, basically. Yeah, so we're going to work, putting the hard hats on, getting ready.
Love it. All right, he is Cooper Mays, nice enough to join us after Africa, after Amsterdam. We always appreciate that. Brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Jason. We appreciate you bringing Cooper to our viewers each and every week. And we'll visit with Cooper next time on about SEC Media Days. So this has been a presentation of Off the Hook Sports. Don't forget to like, follow, and please subscribe on YouTube. We certainly appreciate that.